I love, literally, every once in a while, binge watching a lot of Sky Humphrey performances, especially when I'm like trying to polish my own ideas. And he just has this creative clarity of movement and provides a fantastic template on how to really just organize choreography and show contrast with little movement or effort. I saw this thumbnail and I don't quite know if it's a choreographed piece, a teacher's show, or a solo jazz routine, or something else entirely. Either way, let's take a look at it. Stomp your feet, Barcelona.
So long, shorty, you got a long way to go. Don't forget to let me know when you reach Tokyo. Oh, so long, shorty, I'm gonna be kind of blue. What's a gal like me to do without a pal like you? Every day you're away, here's what I'll do. Blow my top and say I'm gay, but honey, that's not so long, shorty. This is small world out there. When you bring up all the things to me that
Those pants.
shorty, you got a long way to go. Don't forget to let me know. Oh, shorty, I'm gonna be kind of blue. What's a gal like me to do without a pal like you? Every day that you're away, here's what I do. I'll blow my top and say I'm gay, but honey, that ain't true. So long, shorty, it's just a small world I guess. When you bring up all the best to me and my bed. So long.
Classic. Hey guys, don't forget to check out the benefits of becoming a Street Smart Swing member. You get access to the Lindy Hop Blueprint, which is my success system that helps dancers really understand the core principles that make Lindy Hop work fundamentally. Once you can grasp what master dancers understand, you will be able to grasp the principles of Lindy Hop at your current level, which will ultimately put you in the driver's seat to fix your own dancing without always having to need a teacher. Members of the Street Smart Swing community also receive personalized feedback on their social dancing. They will also receive 24-hour access to all classes posted each week. So check out the benefits in the description below. I like to define style and innovation as how far we can stretch a rubber band without breaking it. Some people stretch the artistic rubber band to a point where you can't even recognize the dance that they're trying to do. Other people barely stretch the rubber band and end up looking nearly indistinguishable from the original source material. In my opinion, I feel us modern dancers are debutized to really stretch the rubber band at least 50% further than its original form. To me, I would say this performance by Sky Humphries doesn't quite do that for me. Of course, this is my opinion, but I feel his style in this performance doesn't stretch far enough from the original authentic jazz moves, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. There are not too many people on the planet who can perform basic swing dance steps for over 20 years and not be criticized. Sky Humphries is one of them. A lot of people think his style is too basic or formulaic because he mainly does jazz moves that have been created over 80 years ago. In a way, they have a point, but I personally would argue he looks better doing them because of the investment he's made in refining those moves. In a way, I can see how a novice may not appreciate seeing basic jazz moves over and over and over. On the other hand, I can see why there might be some mature dancers who have a really creative style who may not appreciate the simplicity that often defines Skye's style. I can argue that many famous dancers tend to be overrated and held really high regardless of whatever they're doing currently, and a lot of that is based on their inspirational moments of the past. And we all do this, especially when it comes to classic movies we were raised on. I'm a Star Wars fanatic. Not all Star Wars, just the real ones. Those movies were great and even innovative in their time, but because they've had such an emotional impact on me, I don't feel anything can beat them, even though there may be movies that might be more entertaining or better on a technical level. I would say Skye isn't a direct comparison to that, but in a way he's similar. I think he doesn't stretch the artistic rubber band very much and stays pretty close to what swing dancing is on the most fundamental level. One of the things I've noticed about our modern society, especially here in America, is that we are just people of the now. And whatever is not new, we tend to underappreciate. The other side of this thought process, which really applies to everybody, not just Americans, is that if something that we like happens to not be new, we tend to elevate it beyond criticism because it connects too deeply with us emotionally. I find myself really just vacillating between both of these types of mindsets when it comes to Sky Humphries dancing. If you compare many of the moves that he's doing in this clip with vintage vernacular jazz, they're nearly identical, except his version of them is more refined rather than just raw and exciting. I feel in a way he's like an old soul trapped in a young body that just continues to remind us that less often makes a greater impact than more. And although I can appreciate that on a philosophical and cultural level, the devil's advocate part of me has a hard time valuing Skye's overall style in this performance from a jazz perspective. I say that because many musicians and historians talk about jazz being an expression of your artistic contribution to it. And a lot of that was identified by raw improvisation and creativity, not just a smooth replica of someone else's expressions. Now, of course, us modern dancers have to always be replicating those fundamental moves in order to preserve the art. But if we're not adding value with our unique expression on top of it, which is our own personal jazz, what exactly are we doing? Karaoke? The previous generation's artists were not exempt from the demands of innovation. And I can understand this because we're not necessarily having to innovate in order to survive in the modern world. Most of them did. Now, personally, I'm always going to praise Skye because of how he's brought so much control and clarity to the art form of Lindy Hop. But honestly, I have a love-hate relationship with this type of performance from him. And that is mainly because the majority of these movements have been created by other people over almost a century ago. And his performance adds little variations in tone that may not be enough to justify it being very praiseworthy, especially by us modern dancers who should be prioritizing innovation, just like our predecessors. That doesn't mean we have to give up fundamental craftsmanship, but it does mean if we're doing jazz with a historical perspective that we don't need to be prioritizing it as much as creativity. I always ask myself this question inside of my head. Would my praise of this performance change if any other dancer did the exact same routine? For me, that is the ultimate question when it comes to popular artists who've been around for a long time. It's just like going into an art museum and being told that the most simple piece of art you're looking at is so extraordinary because of who created it, not that it's just amazing enough in itself. That's how torn I feel about this performance, as much as I love Sky Humphries dancing. Do you think this performance would be nearly as good if someone else did it? Let me know in the comments section below. If I don't see your comments below, hopefully I get a chance to see some of you in my class online. Take care.